Bald Beauties are on here today, mate.
Mate, did you see Josh Lawson's got his hair cut as well?
Was he copying us?
He's copying us.
Fucking prick. Have you had some more tattoo done?
Yeah, well, I had this filled in.
Oh shit. We don't need to go to Turkey now. That's your hairline, isn't it?
So it turns out I can't go on the 15th because I didn't just read that. Turns out my fucking passport's expired, so I didn't even fucking know.
Shit.
So I need to get that done. So that's gonna delay that a little bit.
That means you can do Universe now.
I am thinking actually now that was literally the first thing I thought. That means I could do more shows.
Definitely.
The only thing is because I'm planning to do 4. So will I have it in me? But if I do, yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I've always found over the years, right? I've got all like the best ideas in my head. I'm like, I do this one,
Yeah.
this one, and then after like 3, you're like, that'll do.
Well, to be fair, 4 is a lot. 4 is a lot.
It is a lot.
Just because of the peaks, isn't it? It's that's what it is. And my plan isn't to come in at 80% on my first one. I want to be in. Huh?
More like
exactly. Yeah. I want to be like in.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I will. Like compared to how I looked last week to how I look now, I'm like, okay, it's on.
If I'm not mistaken, so last time we did the pod, you were high 230s, no?
Yeah, 236 mate, I was.
So 236. Now you're 222.
Wow. However, mind you, I've been off we dropped my carbs to like 100, and now I've been on 0 carb for the last four days. I've dropped like 2 pounds every day.
And how does that feel?
I feel great. That when we spoke about it this morning, I'm like, I almost feel too good. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why?
Sorry, mate. I mean, my dinner. For those watching, because I saw what you've eaten in no carbs. What does no carbs actually mean? What do your meals look like?
Yeah, so they're literally like whey, pure whey.
That's a meal. Just whey.
That's a meal. That's a meal. Well, because I get 30 grams of fats, so I'm on 350 protein, 0 carb, and yeah, you're gonna get some like residual, like, but they're not like no extra added carbs. So if you get like 1 or 2 grams of carbs per meal, that's fine. I'm not even doing veg.
The only carbs are going to come from the whey, probably, isn't it?
The 1 gram of carb in 80 grams is because I'm using isolate. So a gram of carb is fuck all. So I'm not even using veg at the minute. So it's literally chicken, 300 grams of chicken. I'm not seasoning it. No sauce, salt and pepper. That's it.
Well, and that's made you lose 2 pounds a day for the last like 4 days, yeah?
Pretty much. Well, I was 222 and 3/4 this morning, so 223, right? But I didn't lose from the day before. But yeah, it's been I feel it. I'm gonna have a drop tomorrow.
You're doing a check-in tomorrow, aren't you? Like photos, videos, whatever. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what to people watching this again? Do you think that the no carb approach? Do you think that's an essential thing, or what's your opinion on why it's happening? And
Well, no, I mean, look, we wouldn't have to do that, but I want to be ready in a shorter period of time. So, if you got to go a little bit more extreme. You can't cut your protein. You can't really cut your fats anymore. So you got to cut the carbs. The food's got to come off somewhere. So it's just the carbs,
I've never gone as extreme as you. I've never done that before.
Yeah, we don't. This is the thing. You don't need to. I probably wouldn't need to either. Unless, like, if I had 12 or 10 weeks to get ready, then I wouldn't. But if I want to be like ready in 6, then it's got to be a little bit more extreme.
That's the Saxon Classic, then, first one.
Well, yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, I haven't said that to anyone, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, no. look, so again, I think different people are gonna like. I don't have to go as extreme as you when I'm trying to gain weight.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's either or.
I think people are always like they're one or the other, aren't they? People are
For
like
sure.
they look at food and they gain weight, or they're someone who just like they can't fucking keep it on. So you and me in terms of our genetics are like the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I can lose weight quickly, but I have to dig. Like I can lose quickly, and I can put it on quickly. So my body puts it on and drops it, but
You,
like
you
I
fucking
don't
dropped
have to
14
keep
pounds,
going.
mate.
Hmm?
You dropped 14 pounds in just over a week.
Mm.
Crazy. Do you feel like
Yeah, but mind you, like if I was to go back to a, I don't know, regular 400 grams of carbs, I'll be 230 within a couple of days again.
oh yeah.
You know, it's not a true
Of
drop.
course.
So that's it's just obviously glycogen, and
Hmm.
so it's not like I've dropped 222, and if I went back to a higher carb, I'll be I'll stay there. I would not.
Yeah.
But I imagine we'll probably keep that till the weekend at least, because there'll be no reason to add carbs now. What would be the point? Obviously, I'll check in tomorrow, but
I
I
get
feel good.
I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine it'd be more like refeed days, like high days rather than
I
like
think that's what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he said we'll probably run 250 to 300. It's not going to be like 700 grams of carbs,
yeah.
So I imagine it with that, but I think it would be waiting until I'm in the point where, say, I'm starting to feel really fatigued. Like I could go and do an hour of cardio now. If you said to me, you got to go and do an hour of cardio, I'd be like, fine, I can do it.
Man,
No
this
problem.
is such a different version of you compared to
I
before.
know, it's mental.
This is arguably like the leanest. No, it must be the leanest and lightest.
I am the leanest,
Along.
yeah.
Yeah. And look at
Literally,
your attitude. Look at the way you feel about it.
I know. I got up like about 6-ish, and I'll go to sleep probably about 11, 12. I'll be up at 6 and I'll be full of energy. I got up, I'm like, right, off to train. Went train, I was like, straight after, fuck, I'm gonna go do my cardio. Went and did my cardio, like when we were chatting. And I'm like, I'm fucking really good, like, you know?
So good, mate. So isn't it funny
So,
how food's supposed to give you energy, but then when you're eating a load of food, you feel tired?
well, that's what Dan said, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, I actually feel worse.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Every time I did a high day on oh, for fuck's sake, why did you do this? Some food. Fuck, bear with me a second. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so Martin gave me a high day on what day was it? Sunday. He gave me a high day on Sunday. I had 650 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
But normally
Is that on top or
no. So
no? Yeah.
350 is my normal day. 350
Okay.
is what I'm on right now, and he gave me 650. He did that. I did that on Sunday, and then I woke up Monday, almost half a kilogram down. So even with the influx of food, I'm dropping still.
But that's what we said like previously, didn't we? Almost like if you have a refeed and you drop, you probably needed it. If you have a refeed and you gain, you probably didn't need it.
Oh man, 100%. Yeah, I think I guess there'll be people's different opinions on why weight would shoot up or go down. But I certainly think that when your weight goes down following a high day, I believe that's because you're offsetting fatigue. Your body is fatigued and it's stressed and it's into water. You have that food and it just drops.
Inflammation.
Yeah. Whereas the opposite. So if you gain, like let's say 3, 4, 5 pounds or some shit, like Dan did, something's up. Something's gone wrong somewhere along the line. Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint exactly because obviously Dan's like meticulous, right? So it's not like Dan's like cutting corners, yeah. So
no,
I don't know the answer, but something's not right, And he himself said it was digestion, right? So
digestion, yeah. And it could be that you're probably stuck to more or less the same food, right?
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. He said that he was doing different foods, wasn't he? Like,
yeah. I guess if you're someone that does like macros or like whatever, but if you're like us, like we don't, or at least I know you don't, I don't. I keep the same food, exactly the same food, so I'm not.
Yeah. Whenever I have anything out, I say, Martin, give me exacts. I don't want any guesswork. I want you to tell me exactly what to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would feel like I wasn't getting the right service if someone just said to me, go and have 600 grams of carbs. I'm like, I know where to get it from, but I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
want
saying?
you to tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some people like the macro thing because they're like, oh, 600 grams of carbs. And then they see that as a flexibility. They're like, oh, I get to have some fun stuff. And I'm like, now is not the time.
No, have fun later. Like now we got business to take care of.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, we never touched on it on the last one, right? But I've got like a list on my phone of stuff that I wanted to talk about. One of the questions was, I've had 2 clients in the last 2 weeks say to me, do you do like an if it fits your macros style diet? And I guess, and they asked me my opinion. I know what my opinion is, and I will say it in a minute, but I kind of wanted to get your take on it.
Do I give it to clients?
Well, just your take on it. Well, firstly, explain what if it fits your macros is, and then your take on it.
So your diet's going to be composed of macronutrients, so carbs, fats, and proteins. How you decide to split that within the meals and with what food sources, typically when you put someone's diet together, you do that. Typically I like to do that. I don't like to give people macros because when I give people macros, they seem to slack. And also, I think a lot of people, let's say they'll skip half of the day not eating, and then they'll try and cram in all the food at night. That then fucks up your digestion. Your weigh-ins are all off because you're eating at certain different times, different foods. It's very unpredictable.
Yep, definitely.
Now, if you're a lifestyle client, I'm okay. I'll still rather be like, right, for this meal, you can either have rice, or you can have Cocoa Pops, or you can have cream of rice, or you can have oats. And I'll give you the different amounts. And you can pick. I wouldn't just say, just have whatever you want to fill in those carbs. Because then they end up having a protein bar.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that point, I think that's not the best way to do it. But if I trust the client and I've worked with them for long enough, I might make the exception because I know they won't take the piss. Or they mostly eat the same foods. Like with me and Louis, when we obviously did the off season, I just kind of have macros, but I eat the same shit anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, you know, if I'm gonna have like cream of rice or rice, I'm not just gonna switch it to like pasta. Like I'm not. That's why you have your off-plan meals.
Yeah, mate. I align with you perfectly on that one. Like, so if it fits your macros, like I think what a lot of the time is what people are doing is they're like making up their diet with just whatever. So for example, like let's say you've got to hit 500 grams of carbs throughout the day, okay? And then you know you and I would choose potato. Or I personally would choose potato, pasta, oats, cereals, potentially bagels, cream of rice. You know these things, right?
Yeah, basic bodybuilding foods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas an if it fits your macros diet would be like, I just stop in at Greg's and I grab a sausage roll.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you know what I mean? And well, I'll grab. The thing is, stopping off at McDonald's, we'll grab some chips, and then can you grab me a garlic bread from the shop, and you know what I mean, and make it up like that. And technically speaking, yes, you can still hit the same like you know carbohydrate, but it's like the quality of the food is dramatically reduced. Now, my take on it is, if the quality of food's reduced, digestion's going to be worse. Your performance in the gym is going to be worse. Your recovery is going to be worse, and the body composition is going to look. You're going to look worse. There's literally 5 fucking reasons why it's not a good idea. If the goal is to look as good as you can and perform as good as you can, there's 5 reasons why there not to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And you know sometimes you do that because when you're like, oh, I'll just wing it a little bit today, and you like next day you're like, I look a little bit worse. I don't look as good. Like it's not as predictable. The look's not as predictable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you added more variables. Do you know what the other thing as well, mate? So forget the physicality of it, the psychology of it, right? I know for me, after a show, yeah, I might go and grab, like when I stop in at petrol stations, but I might grab a chocolate bar, right?
Yeah.
And then after that chocolate bar, I don't really want to train. I don't know if you ever get that. Like, yeah, if I have like a big dairy milk, you know, like if I polish that off and then the thought of doing that, then going to train, I'm like, it doesn't, do you know what I mean? It doesn't put me in the right headspace.
I think it sets people up for missing meals and not because the way you think is right. Well, I don't have to prep my food at home because I can always grab something from the shop because I've got the macros. Absolutely. I'll just fill in those macros, but then you end up grabbing a meal deal.
Yeah, definitely. And there's you know there's more reasons now as well that are just coming out. The more I think about it, the more it even comes out. like you fuck up your insulin sensitivity as well, right? If you're eating shitty foods
Yeah.
over a longer period of time, not everyone, but like certainly I know it's happened to me before, like way back when you're eating like Ben and Jerry's ice cream just to get the calories in or some shit, like, and then your appetite's fucked, like, because you just don't want to eat. Yeah, like it happens over time. So that's another reason to not do it. But yeah, people, I think that's very much a young man's thing, or like a very much a bro thing. Like, get the calories in wherever way you can. Like, nah.
Yeah, and again, like if a lifestyle client that I trust, I would never start someone off with macros. But and I tell you what, if someone does macros and there's something off with their weigh-ins or something wrong with the check-in, I always assume they haven't stuck to it. They've cheated somewhere somehow.
Yeah, I agree. If someone wants macros with me, I just say to them, I might not be the right guy for you.
Yeah,
no, like you're not wrong for wanting that, but I'm just we don't probably align. So you know what I mean. I just think it's hard to manage. If someone's eating what the fuck they want, like, what do you even change? What do you? Where's the variables? What, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, and again, like if you've got like, say your dinner is, let's say I'll say, right, you can pick your meat source. You can have chicken. You can have, like, something lean.
Yeah.
You still get options.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So it's not like I'm telling you, you must only have this.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, chicken's great, but turkey's terrible. It's like, well, no, it's not. Like, beef, turkey, chicken, tuna, cod, yeah, it's fine. Crack on.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So from that point of view, that's fine. But I think it's mainly the carb sources, would you not say? Because say someone's like, oh, I really like bagels now, and they will use bagels for all their carb sources, and I'm like, that's a lot of fucking gluten. And then they're like, my stomach's my digestion's fucked. Well, yeah, you're eating 7 fucking bagels a day.
Shut up. I had a client. Sorry. Can't deal with that, man. That's doing my fucking head in. A client last year, we were about 3 weeks out. You may remember him, Fraser.
Yes.
So he had really good potential, and about 3 weeks out, he just got worse. At the 3 week out point, I was like, this guy has got potential to win an overall. Like, he's good. Like, he's got a lot of muscle, and he's aesthetic, and yeah. Anyway, we thought, all right, we're doing mock load, and he was like, bro, do you mind? I don't really like potatoes. And in my mind, I was like, at 3 weeks out, you should be gasping for any food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The fact that he still didn't like potatoes rung a bit of an alarm bell for me. He was like, no, potatoes and rice is just boring. Do you mind if I have like cereal? And I was like, right, you can have cereal. He goes, cool. I'll have a little bit of cereal. And then, anyway, it turns out he came back the day after the refeed, and he'd done all of his carbs via cereal. So he had cereal 5 times in a day.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off. I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing. So yeah, he had shreddies 5 times in a day.
Especially fucking shreddies. At least have fucking Cocoa Pops, like a rice-based sauce, like not
Rice Krispies. Yeah, man. Yeah, shreddies.
Not wheat,
Yeah.
You're not gonna, like, a carb is not a carb.
No,
because the carbs that you get in cereal is sugar.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same as a fucking potato.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. If it's grown naturally compared to it's being made by a human, they're not the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Cocoa Pops does not grow naturally. Fucking shreddies do not grow naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, turns out, he did that, and sure enough, he looked worse the next day. And I was like, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Anyway, then he got ill, then he moved house and whatever. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just hate
inflammatory as well. I don't know if you ever noticed, like, when you start to eat a lot of cereal, like post-workout, I can't deal with it. Like, past maybe 80 grams, that's kind of like my max, because it just starts to, like, inflame my stomach, and I just feel shit.
100%, yeah.
I can't eat shit out of cereal.
So I've been up to like 250 grams Rice Krispies, but 250 Rice Krispies is like this, isn't it?
Oh, mate. Crazy. And Rice Krispies is so much volume. It's not like,
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. So to sum up, mate, if it fits your macros, I just think if you really give a shit about the result, then it's probably not the right way to go. if you really care about having balance with normal everyday life, then yeah, it might be the best option. But if you give a shit about the result, I think you're better off being a bit more precise, you know?
And I think because a client like that, they'll have an off plan. They'll have an off plan on a Saturday or like whatever, you know, lifestyle clients. They'll have you have your diet, follow your diet, and then on a Saturday, go and have an off plan meal.
That's what you try and drill home to a minute, like almost like earn the food.
Earn it.
Work hard, and then yeah. I actually have got a guy who I mentor. So he pays me, and then he's got clients, and he asks me how to help them.
How to help them, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got every week we do a call and we go through his clients. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because he's really big on them having flexibility.
Right.
And we're 7 weeks in now, and none of them are changing. Because he goes, yeah, well, you know, this girl had a bag of Haribo, and then, you know, she was a bit hungry on that day, so she ended up having this. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, for me and my business model, like the way that I want my coaching to be, I just will not tolerate that. There's just no way. And if you're someone who's watching this right now and you think, well, that's too strict for me, well, I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy. Yeah, I'm not your guy.
I'm the same way. And I think, again, like, that comes with, now we're at a point that we can be selective.
Yeah.
Like, we can pick. So someone asked a question on my thing, and they're like, do you work with naturals and like beginner people? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, naturals, whatever. Like, I don't really work with naturals because it's not fun. But beginners, like, no, I'm not a fucking babysitter, and I'm not there to spoon feed you. And I'm not there to fucking teach you how to train. You need to know how to fucking train. Yes, I can look at your training, but I'm not there to, like, you know, teach you. You need to know how to fucking train, and you need to have the basic understanding of how to fucking diet.
What about, do you ever get them guys that are, or girls that are like, oh, I've got a home gym and I've got like a couple of dumbbells and you're like, and you're supposed to build a proper workout program around like dumbbells and a fucking resistance band. You're like, fuck's sake.
But yeah, no, beginners is a no-go for me. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it.
I don't. Do you know what? That's funny. Like, you mentioned that. I don't mind. I don't mind helping someone who's pretty new, as long as they're trying. As long as they're trying.
Yeah.
As long as they listen to what I say. For me, the people who want like flexibility, like, okay, I took on a guy. He's from Bali, funnily enough, like, of all places. And he's like, I want to drink. I drink on the weekends. So I'm pretty sociable. And I was like, so what are we talking drinks? And he was like, so like Friday I'll have like a bottle of wine and, you know, a couple of beers. Saturday I'll have a couple of bottles of wine and, you know, maybe a few vodkas. And then Sunday, like, I usually watch football and have about 5 or 6 beers. I'm like, but by this point he'd already paid me. He actually didn't say that until after. He'd already paid me. In my mind, I'm like, I don't want that. So I said, no, man. I was like, well, can you at least meet me in the middle? So instead of like 3 bottles of wine and, you know, 10 beers, like, can we go like 1 bottle of wine for the weekend and, you know, 5 beers? And he was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's a bit steep for me. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I say, man, I'm not your guy. If you need that flexibility, I'm not your guy. I'm just not. And
that's not to say like there's no leeway. Like I said, it's you've got different food sources. You still get your off-plan meals. You still get flexibility, but within the parameters of you making progress, because you need a certain amount of strictness to make progress.
But that's the ironic thing, right? Because they think they want freedom, but actually what they want, they've come to you and they're paying you money. So actually what they want is a result.
Yeah.
And where's the result going to come from? It's not going to come from being flexible. Like, I don't. Okay, and flexible, what I mean is like not giving a fuck. Yeah. Some flexibility, yes, but.
And we all are. Like, for me, like, if I'm in an off season, sometimes I'll be like, fuck it, I'm going to go out for a meal. My mum invites me around. I'm going. But you went round your mum's, didn't you? And you still eat your food.
Yeah.
But along with everyone else. Yeah. But you're on prep.
Yeah.
If you weren't, you will just have that one off.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
But again, it's time and a place. And if you're coming in at 30% body fat and you're needing to lose body fat, well, then we need to be we need to fucking crack on for a little bit.
Yeah, man, you fucking nailed it there. It's like, like in off season, I'm not saying that I never fucking, have a McDonald's, never have a pizza. Of course I do. Of
Right.
course I fucking do. But I'm also not moaning that my composition's not changing. If I
Yeah.
was, if I came to you, said, Dave, I'm so annoyed, I'm not changing. And you were like, well, what are you doing every week? And I'm like, well, I have a couple of takeaways a week. And you're,
Yeah.
that's your problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a no brainer. I'm all for a takeaway. I'm all for it. But like, there's time and place, And
I think when you get to a certain point in an off season, you don't even want it.
Yeah. It's funny. Amy got, what did she get today? She went to Costa. She got me a black coffee, and she had a fucking caramel, whatever the fuck, and she had a Victoria sponge muffin.
Right,
bro. First time on prep that I can actually admit this. I looked at it and I started salivating. I was like,
really?
oh shit, because I haven't really felt hungry this whole prep. Anyway, and I thought to myself, how fucking weird is it, right? I could have eaten that for all of off season. I could have had that, but I
could have had it. Like, yeah,
I never wanted it, and now I'm like, oh my god, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, I haven't craved, like, there's not been something that I've looked at and I'm like, fuck, I really want that.
Shit,
I haven't had that yet.
Fuck's sake! Oh my god!
What?
He's ripped up the carpet. You fucking old twat! You are a fucking dick. Oh, man, I've got no. Give me a break. Just give me a fucking break. Fuck's sake. It literally depresses me, man. It's going to cost me a fucking £100 or some shit. Anyway, don't fucking bark. Sorry, mate. Yeah, so you're still not having cravings?
I wonder whether it's because of, when you're not eating carbs, when people talk about like keto, obviously I'm not doing keto, but when people talk about like you're not eating carbs, so you're almost like not really craving them. Well, that's popped up again, 10 minutes.
I fucking paid for it last time, man. This my patience is being tested right now, I'll tell you. What the hell's going on my screen as well? For fuck's sake. What are you doing? Fuck off. Man, I'm gonna go insane in a minute. You don't have food, like you want it less, it almost like sets you off. I would say, what Dan said today about a high day.
Yeah.
If you had a high day now, it would probably not do you a favor, if you know what I mean.
This is why I hate cheat meals on a diet, because it makes it so much harder for me to then get back on the diet. I would rather be like, right, no cheat meals, no refeeds, no high days, whatever. I just want to diet straight.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. But the unfortunate reality of being a bigger dude, with the amount of muscle mass that you've got, you need to protect that muscle mass to a certain degree. And if
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like happy that at the minute, like my training's really good. My energy's really good. Still tons of energy to do cardio. So I'm in a good spot that I'll tell Louis tomorrow that if we can, let's carry this on until the weekend.
Do you think you envisage him trying to give you a higher day or something like that? I mean, what do you think he's going to do?
I don't know. He said check in tomorrow, because obviously we've done Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's like 4 days of zero carb.
Yeah.
And again, depends how much I drop. If I drop another 2 pounds, potentially.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I'm really impressed by the way that you're dealing with this, mate. Like I am. Like obviously I've known you for a long time now, and I've never seen this side of you. It's like really, it's good. It's good.
No, I really want it this year. I really feel like looking at myself, I'm like, I've made the improvements to kind of feel confident that I can do well.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
so that I actually really want that this year. So
it shows.
Different too.
It shows.
I do. I wonder if obviously if yes, I drop weight, but if I still feel fine, is there a need to refeed?
The only point, the refeeds. So again, this is probably good, like for people watching as well. Like what the reasoning behind a refeed would be physiologically, if you're not recovering well, if your body stops responding, so you start looking worse, if your strength is dipping, it's like down the pan. These are 3 potential reasons, or even like, let's say sleep is fucked up, or
sleep. I was just about to say my sleep's fucking perfect.
Well, so there you go. So They're the physiological things, and then psychological if you need like mental respite from like dieting like all the time. So sometimes people might
I've
need
been
that.
dieting like, and the thing is, it's like I was looking back at some of my pictures. I was like a month ago, I was like fat as fuck. So I've been dieting like a month.
Yeah, not yeah.
So it's not like I've been dieting for 4 months to
This,
where I'm like, oh,
yeah, this is a thing. Like Louis actually said this to me. Like I trained with Louis on Saturday, and he said, he goes, 6 month prep doesn't really bother me because for the first like 2 or 3 months, you don't even feel anything, and it's true, isn't it? Like up until
but you're still in a deficit. You're still in a deficit.
Yeah.
So to me, that's more the fact that I know I'm in a deficit. So I'm not improving. I'm still in a deficit. Yes, you're not hungry, but you're kind of like, I don't know. I would rather do a shorter prep. I'd rather do a 10, 12. Well, so that prep's going to end up being what? 12 weeks to the first show?
Yeah. I think that's about right, personally. I think unless you're in like really tip-top shape, it's probably the minimum. Like if you're someone who's like barely holding any fat, you could probably do like a 6-week one, probably.
Sure.
But yeah, for most people, it's somewhere between 12 to 20 weeks, somewhere in that region. But,
yeah.
So and you're like me, like if you can do the shorter load, 12 weeks, spot on.
I'd rather hit it hard from the start with the cardio, with all that, because I'm kind of like all in. I'm like, right, we're in prep now. Let's do cardio. Let's diet. Let's know that we're in. You know, rather than be like, oh, you know, I'm kind of like 200 calorie deficit, 10 minutes of cardio. Like, what is this? I don't even.
Do you know what? Right, I think there's a middle ground there. So we've actually spoke about before. We spoke about it with Kelvin, I think, because Physique Collective, Christian, he said, like from day one of prep, when you've got more energy, and you know go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I fully agree with that, right? Because you don't want to exhaust your options early, right? So let's just hypothetical here. Yeah. Let's say for 6 weeks you go 45 minutes. And then you bump up to an hour. So for 4 weeks, you do 45 minutes cardio. And then at the 5 and 6 week point, you go to an hour. Okay? Yeah. You're not going to be super, super lean by 6 weeks. Like by the 6 week point, it's not like you're going to be super lean. You're going to be leaner, but not super lean. Okay. And then what do you do? What do you reduce down cardio?
This is what I did, didn't I? So we kind of started off and we're like, right, let's hit it hard. And I think we started on we went from 4.5, 5,000 calories to half that. So I was on 2.5, 30 minutes of cardio, whatever. Then next week we're in 40, then 50, then an hour. Then now I'm 75, no carbs. But I'm almost at a point now that I'm we can start maybe pulling back the cardio. When you're at that point, you can start introducing refeeds. So I tell you what, I think it depends on the person. If you're someone that, as soon as you introduce that, their energy plummets, their mood changes. They just can't handle that physically and mentally. They lose strength. Some people lose strength. Bro, do you get these people that are they're 4 days into dieting? Let's say you, and they're like, oh, my strength in the gym was shit today. Bro, what do you mean you've been dieting 4 days? Shut the fuck up.
That bugs the fucking crap out of me. That does. How are you weak after 3 or 4 days?
I'm still strong as fuck. What the fuck are you talking about? When so shit like that. But I think it is mental, but equally some people do get weaker.
Hey, some people do. We're not all the same. You and I, we've talked about this a lot. You and I have a propensity to be stronger, right?
To be strong, yeah.
Yeah, but and also if you're using steroids, then you're gonna hold on to your strength. But I think a lot of people go in with the mindset, they almost tell themselves they're gonna be weaker. Before they've even gone to the gym, they're like, oh, I'm dieting, therefore,
You know what it is? I think this is it. This year is that's the biggest thing. It's a mindset. I'm no, I feel great. I'm no, I feel
100%. I keep saying easy, fucking easy. Me and my client, it was back and forth, easy. It's so true though. If you tell yourself that it's going to be hard, it's probably going to be hard. It probably is. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just think. So Martin's pulled my cardio, and I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, because I'm good to go. I want to push. I want to get proper condition, right? But he's pulled it. He said you come in too fast. We need to make sure, But I don't know where my head's at with it. Obviously, I'm just doing it because I do trust Martin. But
I think the fact that you've done how many shows with him now? 6, 7.
Yeah, I think maybe 5 or 6. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows
Yeah,
how to bring you in
hey,
because you've done a shorter prep.
Martin's the real deal. You know, I do know that, but yeah.
You've done shorter preps. You've done longer
Yeah,
preps.
yeah.
He knows how long you need to diet and how much you need to push to get in that shape. Plus, you got to remember that first show, that's not your main show. So
No.
potentially, you don't, like what you said, you don't want to exhaust all your tools.
Yeah. Mate, Martin knows what he's doing. Fuck me, does he know what he's doing? So I do trust him, but it's just such a mind fuck. Like
It's a competitive mindset thing. Like if Louis said to me like now, oh yeah, pull your cardio, but like, no, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Like I want to do it. I actually want to do it right now. It feels weird. It feels I'm 5 weeks out and I'm not doing it. Like I don't know, man. It's weird. Every prep I've ever done, like you wake up in the morning, you go do cardio, you come back, have a coffee. Like it's just the routine, you know.
I actually really enjoy doing cardio at night now. It felt weird doing it early this morning because I knew we were recording, so I'm like, I don't want to leave it till like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But so I just felt really good, so I was just fuck, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah,
we've got a list in a minute, by the way, on here.
Yeah, sorry. So what we do is we'll stop it now and then we'll get back on. All right.
Okay.
Back in a sec, mate. I don't know what's going on. I thought I bought the subscription, but apparently not. But yeah, you've seen the screenshot. I've definitely done it. So
yeah. Do you know what? Mine's I've got mine as well, so it's just handy to have it. So it doesn't do the what's it called?
40 minutes.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I can't remember what we were talking
about.
It's all right. It's all right. Amy's cooking dinner. Oh yeah, I actually can't remember.
Have you got any more? What other topics have you got?
Yeah, I've got some more, mate. I've got some more. So I've got quite a few. So I want to try and get a good one, right? There's a few. Okay, things that annoy me apparently, right? People who are hyper focusing on posing when they don't even have, any physique to speak of. Recently, I've been seeing, it's not as much actually, but there's been a few dudes who are doing all this sort of like,
yes,
you know what I'm on about, right? Yeah, what the fuck? And like, you're just missing the big picture. I'm all for posing. Posing's really important, but like, come on.
Yeah. Take care of them fucking love handles before.
Yeah, but fat, no muscle, and it's a bit like the dudes who, the ones that you called out,
yes.
Telling you how to train, and like, what the fuck? Have you had any more from that, by the way?
No. I mean, he just kind of, because I said to him, come on. Like he would never come on, but I'm like, if you want to talk science, we know science.
Yeah.
We know all the science, because people assume that because we kind of tell people keep it simple, train hard. They think we kind of ignore all the science. No, bro, we study all the science too, but we kind of make it distinguish what's useful and what's bullshit.
Hey, bro, that's such a good point. I feel like you come full circle, right? So when you've been around in the game long enough, you start basic, you get more knowledge, and you start getting a bit more technical, and then you almost go back to being more basic again. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people who are good basically do a bro split now?
Well, we start with a bro split. You're like, right, exactly. Let's try the push-pull leg. Let's try this. Let's try that. And you're like, well, no, what we've done to start off actually works better.
Well, really, 100%. Even like people start, when you first start as well, high volume. You start off, as you said it numerous times, like you do incline bench, 3 or 4 sets. You do flat bench, 3 or 4 sets. You do decline, 3 or 4 sets. Dumbbells, 3 or 4 sets. Flat, you know what I mean? Just go.
Yeah.
And then you switch to low volume, but then you realize actually you need probably a bit more to elicit proper hypertrophy.
And why would you want to do 1 set? Why would you?
No.
Why would you want to confine yourself within that 1 set that makes all the difference?
Well, the guys doing this are very rarely strong.
Yeah.
Like they're very rare. Like if you've got 1 set, you better have a couple of things on your side. You better either be incredibly strong, or you better be really good at adding in set intensifiers. Like drop sets. Like a drop set or like negatives or something. Like being able to take the set there. If you're neither of those things, you've got no business doing 1 fucking set.
I think taking it there carries a lot more risk the more advanced you become.
Yeah.
Because why don't you just do 3 sets of hard work where, you're taking it almost there, but not
Yeah.
quite. But you just accumulate more volume.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. I think what it is because like it's like you know those sets we've talked about it before. Those sets that give you anxiety before you do them.
Yeah.
There is something about them that they do lure you in, right? You can't say like I know you do. You know those heavy deadlift sets they lure you in, don't they? They do. The heavy squat sets you can't help but think, I wonder.
Do you know what though? Having changed that, because up to last year I was kind of doing that, and now I love every training session because you're not gonna, if you follow your logbook or like whatever, you're not gonna feel the same every single day. You're just not, because you're not a robot. It's not a perfect algorithm where you can be like, right, this is predictable.
Yeah.
It's not. It could be hydration. It could be had an argument with your missus. Shit just doesn't flow exactly the same way. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to perform to the best of my ability for that session.
Yes, absolutely. Relative to that day, just work your hardest.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Like, it's a bit like, you know, like powerlifting programs. They tell you to lift 85% for 3 reps, 90% for 2 reps. Like, how do you know? I just couldn't predict that. I just can't. Sometimes I think I'm going to be weak. Like yesterday, I trained with Craig. And for some fucking reason, I was way stronger than I've been in 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
However, you say powerlifting, right? But you're talking about beginner powerlifters, like beginner. You're talking about strongless 5x5. You're talking about, you know, the kind of the Texas method. A lot of these kind of like beginner programs. When you start going advanced, you auto-regulate. You don't follow it because it doesn't work like that. When you start to become advanced, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of get a feel for it. Well, have you ever, as you're warming up, you feel like it's not there today? So let's say you're going in for like a 6-plate deadlift, yeah? You get to about 60, you're like, so 1 plate aside, and already you're like, fuck. So 2 plates aside, you're like, you kind of know, you can tell yourself whether you're going to do it or not. You can kind of, you know what I mean? But sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you feel like it's going badly, and then all of a sudden you get to 5 plates and it goes boom. And you're like, fuck.
Very rarely, because I think sometimes if the 4 plates doesn't feel good, meaning my lower back's a little bit off, you know, my hips playing up. Let's say I went for an hour and a half of drive yesterday. Tomorrow my back's not going to be like as good as it if I hadn't.
Yeah, I get that.
So the way I sort of think of it is like just, and you know what? You know, the bigger like proponents of the logbook, like JP, he even says, have different rep ranges that you then try to address on depending on how you're feeling. If you feel really good, go for that rep. But if someone has like a fixed rep range where they're like, right, I did 12 reps with 60 kilo last week, so I need to do 13 reps. Well, you might not have it.
Definitely. For me, as I don't know if it's an age thing, because you know, you're 10 years younger than me. You can tell me. The idea of doing multiple sets within a session under 6 reps,
I don't do that anymore.
It's just too risky.
I don't do anything like that anymore.
No, neither. It's just like what you're going to get from that set could be great. Like, let's say you do 6 reps on fucking 260, 280 squats. Let's say, like, because that's a fucking good set, right? But no, man, no. I'll be thinking about that for like a week before. Like,
do you know what I think about now? I'm like, I will never be as strong as I once was.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't get enjoyment out of chasing weight anymore because I'm like, I've done it before. In the grand scheme of things, like, say, I don't know, a 200 kilo bench, like a 300 and whatever kilo dead. That's not outrageous compared to what some people do. But for me, that's strong. And for most people, that's strong. I know I'll never get to that point anymore, nor do I need to. So at that point, I'm like, well, even if I do 300 today, I'm like, I've done more before. So I'm not really enticed by that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think you and me, our strongest days are behind us, which is a weird one to think about, isn't it?
Which is odd, yeah.
Yeah. So Martin asks me that on my check-in every week. He's like, "How's your strength?" And I was like, it's weird for me to answer because, relative to me, 5 out of 10, but like 6 out of 10, like it's okay, but I don't care as much because I'm caring more about how I'm doing it, right? And you know,
I could not care less about strength anymore. I honestly don't. I do not care.
Yeah, and to be honest, look at how yours and my physique has progressed in like the last 2 or 3 years
Yeah, since we've stopped doing that
since we
shit.
stopped doing it. Yeah, that's fucked, isn't it? Like, you almost wish you could go back. I mean, I don't regret it because I had so much fun. I'm sure you did too. But it's like, shit.
And it's impressive because I can still say, I've done it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a video. I've done it.
Yeah, I love that. You know, like so many people have got like they say that they've done something, but they can't prove it. Like I've got all of my like work lists that are worth
Yeah.
something. I've got, you know what I mean?
And now I'm like, well, but then I'll look back at that and I'm like, right, I was this strong, but my goal was to be this big.
Yeah, it's true.
I wasn't. So it's kind of like, well, what does that tell you?
It's funny because I was always really proud of what I could. I always knew that I was stronger than I looked.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of that. Whereas now I'm the opposite. And
do you think now because you've got the physique, you know, and now because I feel like I've got the physique, so now I don't care about my lifts. Before, someone like looks better than you, they'll go, oh, you know, whatever, I don't really lift that much. You'd be like, yeah, but I'm really strong.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Get that. And actually used to like kind of annoy me because like I'll go in the gym and people be like, oh, he's really strong. But I'm like, I'm not fucking trying to be strong. I'm trying to be fucking big.
Yeah, there was so many guys who were definitely bigger than me, and I always knew that, like, for me, like, bench was the thing, right? And I was always like, yeah, but I can lift more. Yeah, but I can lift more.
Yes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, but who gives a shit? Because ultimately, what were we always trying to be? We were always trying to be big, weren't we? We were always, and we weren't really getting there. We were just we were good at movements. We were training the movement, not training the muscle.
Training the movement, yeah.
You know? And I think that's the thing with deadlifts. As much as everyone's like, you've got to hinge. Okay, if you can and you can do it well, great.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You don't have to. If you can grow without it, fine. Fucking fine. Because there are people who are great at deadlifts, but don't have very good backs or hamstrings. You know? It's true, right?
And I would say for me this year, I done in most of my off season. How much that contributed to my back growth, I don't know, because I did all sorts of other shit alongside it.
Yeah, it's hard to know what did what, eh?
Yeah, so you can't say, oh, it's the deadlift. Well, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, strength is good.
Yeah.
But it's almost like be strong within the parameters of bodybuilding strength. You know, not trying to just chase weight.
I think in modern bodybuilding, it's the two are conflated way too much. How much someone's lifting on Instagram, you know. Look, by the way, I'm not saying this as a negative, right? So, for example, you'll see a dude in off season and he's bulked right up, you know, like. So he did a show, and he's in off season, and all of a sudden he's 20 kilos above stage weight, so he's fucking jacked, and he's lifting with this weight, and immediately, me too, you look and you think, fucking hell, like he's lifting all that weight, and he's like, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Like how strong that person got in off season doesn't really matter. I let it get to me. There's guys who I know I'm going against, and I see them deadlifting fucking 320 for reps and shit, and I'm like,
yeah,
it matters to a degree if you got really thick, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is how you present on stage. You know?
Yeah, and again, like almost what's like what we all kind of said that last night. It's almost like you're even on an extreme.
Yeah.
You either lift the lightest weight possible with 17-second eccentric, or you're doing like 1 rep maxes, like JP style, and it's like, why don't you just try and lift moderate weight with moderate volume? Be in the middle.
Yeah, what I think people like, it's like tribe mentality. They like being a part of like a
right.
It's this way. It's this way, and you're not, fuck you if you don't agree, kind of thing.
Yeah. You can't say, you know, I lift heavy when I feel like it. You know, not heavy, but you know, heavy for volume. You know, you can't say that. That's not right.
It's nice. I actually saw Cuba, which we talk about him again. But he actually said, I'm not married to one style. And I thought, good. Even though it does feel like he is. But I think that's what we should all strive to be like.
Yeah.
Take something from various different methods. You know, it doesn't have to be all or fucking nothing, right?
If you go and train with someone, do you go, oh, do your workout?
Most of the time, yeah.
I do that too. Because I'm like, well, I'm not interested in doing my workout. I want to see what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I seem to train with people who always want to take over the session anyway. They don't
Right.
even, they barely even ask what I want to do. And I'm thinking, motherfucker. But no, as you say, I'm quite easygoing. I'm quite easygoing, and I'll just be like, yeah, whatever. We do what you want. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm very flexible with training as well. I'm
yeah.
kind of like, oh, I don't mind. Whether it's a T-bar or a chest-supported row, where, you know, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, a row's a row, in it. As long as it's hard and you train, yeah, fuck it.
I think people get too obsessed with like, it's got to be this. And it's like, no, it doesn't.
I say to all of my clients, like I put it in a document, like just change the movement. Like as long as it's mimicking it, like so a squat variation. Yeah. You choose. It's up to you. You choose. Like or a row variation. Just choose one. It doesn't have to be. It's not like, oh, this machine's really good, but this one's really shit. It's like, no, they can all work. You know, they can all like, you know.
Do you know what? I actually said that to one of my clients. I said to him, I actually prefer to change movements because, same as you, we get strong quickly. So if I go on a machine, by about week 4, I've added like 4 plates on that machine. I would rather not do that. I would rather do hack, then I go into the pendulum, then I'll go onto a squat machine, because then every week is fresh and I'm equally like not that strong.
Right. So again, it goes back to that risk factor, yeah? Yeah, so like if like 5 weeks deep on a hack squat, you know you're going to be on like fucking 7-8 plates, and your knees are going to be like,
yes,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
It was like 1 week I'll be like, oh, I'll do barbell, I'll do 180, you know, I'll do 180.
Yeah.
Then I'll go on the hack, then I'll go somewhere else, and it's just more fun. Like what that's done for me, obviously, not being married to one specific movement or one specific, you know, is that I get to not stress. I go to the gym and I'm like, I feel like legs, for example. Last week we did 3 leg presses. So we did the seated hammer strength, the 45-degree Cybex, and the 1 leg press.
Yeah.
We didn't do a squat.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do. You know.
That sort of like that makes me enjoy training more.
Yeah.
Like having the option just to be like, nah, not today.
Yeah.
Not today. Nah, I don't. It doesn't feel right today. I really just want to try that. I just want to do that again. You know what I mean?
And I used to do that where I'd be like, no, I must do the hack, and even to the point where I do like the rotations, like where I'm like, right, rotation 1 is hack, and then the next week is pendulum, and then you go back, and it's like too much overthinking, too much stress, and like I said, like the night before you're in bed like, oh fuck me, I got to squat this much tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you know what? As much as there's a part of me that will never die, like in terms of like loving the strength stuff, I'm so glad I don't have those feelings anymore. Do you remember lying in bed and you remember that you've got to do that set, and you get an adrenaline dump, like your body just goes, and then you can't sleep. Oh man, that anxiety, man, fuck. I do not miss that.
No, and this is what I'm saying. Like now, every session, I'm like, I look forward to it because I know that I'll do my best for what I can do that day. But it doesn't mean that, or I haven't got a set number that I'm like, especially in prep, like. If you go into the gym and you have a shit session, not because of the fact that you've missed a number, you actually feel worse, and you're like, fuck, I had a shit session. Maybe you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Just leave it, do a little bit more volume, and still have a good session.
Yeah.
But because you've missed that number, now you've put it in your head that you're regressing essentially. I'm losing muscle.
Yeah, I think that's a skill though. I don't think everyone's got that skill. So movement number 1 is usually something that you might load a little bit at least, right? You're not going for like fucking stupid numbers, but you're going to load it to a degree, right?
Yeah.
If that movement doesn't go right, it does set a negative tone for the session. And the ability to not let that get to you, I don't know if everyone's got that. Like I speak to clients and they're like, oh, I had a shit one. Oh, I just wasn't feeling right. Oh, I picked up the dumbbells and all of a sudden that session turns into a shit one.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I'm the same as you. No, I can let it go. I can let it go, but I don't think a lot of people can. You know?
I used to be like that. I am now totally detached to that. I could not care less. I could not give a fuck.
Because what that does is like what that's doing is you're telling your brain or you're telling yourself, whatever, that let's say you're doing 6 exercises in that session, yeah, you're telling yourself that only number 1 is important. But actually, all 6 should be, of equal importance. If only number 1 exercise is important and the rest are just whatever, why even bother with the whatevers?
But the way I go around that is, say, back, right? Sometimes I'll start with a pull down. Sometimes I'll start with a row. So I'm like, well, I'm starting with a pull down. So if I'm not as strong on the row, that's fine because I started with pull down.
Definitely, yeah.
So I haven't got a set like, right, this is exercise 1. No.
If it's later in the workout, expect to lose a couple of reps.
Yeah.
It's okay. But what you see what I'm saying? Let's say I never liked this attitude of like let's say by exercise number 6, you're just like, nah, whatever. It's only exercise number 6. Like, if you view that exercise as not really that important, what's the point? Like, what my point is, you should try and attack everything with as much as you can.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to be as strong on the last one as you are as the first one, but you should still, give it your all, right?
But it has its purpose. It's a finisher, Bro science term, but it's a finisher.
Yeah, 100%.
So
you do. You want to flush a load of blood through the muscle, right? You do.
Yeah.
So
I'm not trying to obsess over, I didn't lift this much on that exercise. But when you're following a logbook, you do, because if you think, my last exercise is this and I need to match that number. And if you don't, you're like, oh, fuck's sake. When
I get it, man.
Especially an isolation movement, does it really fucking matter?
I get it, right? You want something tangible. So a number is tangible, isn't it? It's like you can compare it really easy. So last week was 10. This week's got to be 11. Yeah. It's really easy to follow, but you're missing out what bodybuilding is. Bodybuilding isn't a number.
No.
Bodybuilding is not a number. It's work. It's effort within the set, isn't it? Like, so let's say last week you got 10, but this week you only got 8. But that 8 was fucking 100%. Like, you went there. Who cares? Technically, you went back. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. You didn't go back. Like, if you there may have been more internal drive. It may have been harder physically. You're not weaker. You just put more into it. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's too many variables.
This is exactly. I don't think you can. It's training is such a measurable, like, it's not as measurable as your diet, for example. You can be very accurate with your fucking diet every single day. You can.
Yep.
Training doesn't work like that because there's just so many different factors that go into it. Like, again, hydration, sleep, like mentally, if let's say you've got shit going on,
do you know what? Like, and there will be people going, well, you got to make sure every rep is uniform. But I know, even myself, I can make myself fail quicker if I want to.
Yeah.
So let's say on a chest supported T-bar, okay? I know if I bring my chest slightly off and I slightly like use a bit of momentum on the first, I know I can get 2 or 3 more reps.
Yeah.
Or I can extend, stretch, contract, and I know that I'm going to fail quicker. Okay, so which one was better?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say last week I got 12 reps and then this week I did it the other way and I only got 8.
Yeah.
Did I go backwards or did I just do it differently?
Or the leg press, like sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck me, I'm going to fail on that 12 rep, but I need to get 14. So I'm going to cut the last 2 short, get my 14 reps for the logbook.
No, and there will be proponents of the logbooks who say, no, everything's uniform. It's like, you have to be honest with yourself. But let's be honest. We're humans. We're flawed.
Yeah.
We are flawed. In the heat of the moment, when you want to get that fucking rep, you can pull it short, like you say, or you can use a bit of momentum. Of course you can. Of course you can. So I think relying to, as I say, bodybuilding is not a number. It's not a number. It doesn't matter what you fucking lifted. It matters on how well you lifted it, you know?
And the volume thing is like, that pisses me off. When someone's dieting and they're like, do you think I should reduce my volume? I'm like, why? Because, like, I'm in a deficit, so, like, recovery. I'm like, fuck me, just fucking train. Shut the fuck up and fucking train. What the? Reduce my volume. Shut the fuck up.
That's the fatigue crew, mate. The fatigue crew of 2023. Fatigue. Every other word. Deload, fatigue.
Yeah, every fucking week is the deload week.
You and I both know, like, most people are not training hard enough to require a deload. Like, you're just not.
No.
So
I actually had a client last week. He he messaged me, he goes, oh, my digestion, like in the check-in, he's like, my digestion's been a bit shit, like my sleep's been a bit shit, my heart rate, that was a red flag. He's like, my heart rate's up. I'm like, you need a deload. That's where you need it. I'm like, take 4 days off, right? But most people don't. I hardly ever give people deloads.
The thing is, you work with, you don't really work with natties, right?
No.
So with natties, it's definitely more of a thing. I noticed this with some of my natural guys. The work capacity just isn't the same. It just isn't. Like over time, they do start to regress if you're not mindful of it. So yes, you know, but the guys that I've issued that I've given a deload to, they train hard as fuck.
Yeah,
but they're typically natty guys.
Yeah,
you know, because it does get a point where it's just like, no.
Even that, people overthink like deloads, and it's almost like paralysis by analysis. You just like overanalyze shit so much that it actually holds you back.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Hey, let's work for a couple more of these. One of them was
shitloads as well yesterday.
Have you? Yeah, go on. Get a couple up.
You go. Yeah.
All right, okay. I'll go. So we've done if it feature macros. Too many. Oh, okay. This one bugs me. Maybe it bugs me. Maybe you won't be able to relate to it. Hopefully you will. So people don't realize how much needs to come off, right? So many times dudes would be like, yeah. How do I word this best? So they'll be like fucking 20, 25 kilos above stage weight, thinking that they've probably gained 5 to 10 kilos of muscle. And it's like, you fucking haven't. Like, the more you're putting on in your off season, the more it's just got to come off again. I know we've kind of touched on it before, but it like I've made a note of it because it clearly winds me up. More needs to come off than you realize. And even when you're ready, probably another 10 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Dudes think they're fucking like ready, and then more than likely another 5 to 10 kilos has got to come off from that point, you know?
Yeah.
I just think people grossly underestimate how lean they are. And also, they always think their body fat percentage. Like, do you have people asking their body fat percentage?
Or like when you ask them about their goal, when like on the questionnaire, I want to get to 8% body fat. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, it's so like random, isn't it? It's so random. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, before I was like 5% body fat. Like, do you fucking oh my god. Anyway, people overestimate how lean they are.
Yeah,
and they underestimate how much body fat needs to come off. Definitely.
Well, I see that with myself. Like last year, like again, it was 230 or 235 near on like when I finished the diet.
Yeah.
And like someone might look at that and think, oh, 10, 15 pounds more. No, I'm like, I need to be like, and even now, I still look at myself and I'm like, still another 20 pounds to come off.
Yeah. Well, if you think so, from that point to where you are now, that was 12 pounds, 13 pounds.
Yeah.
And even now, there's still another 13 pounds.
Yeah.
It's just mad how much more. And we have touched on this before, but fuck it, I'll say it again. Like that initial 10 to 15 pounds that comes off. So at your peak body weight, 10 pounds comes off, and not only do you not look better after that 10 pounds, you actually look worse.
You look worse,
mate. Oh my god, it's fucked. So then your brain starts going into overdrive, and you think, fuck. So I'm dieting, I'm losing size, and I look worse.
Yeah.
So here's what most blokes then think. They then think, well, I better start eating again. Fuck, because I look worse. So they start eating, and then they basically just lose that same 10 pounds.
10 pounds every year. Cut, getting the
down,
same 10 pounds.
Up. Yeah.
No, I mean, with me now, I kind of know that. I'm prepared. I knew that. So it's not like when it first happens, you're like, oh. But once you've been through that a couple of times, you know that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
But
this definitely isn't. It's more of a beginner thing. It's more of a beginner thing for sure.
And I think a lot of people, you get stuck. So I got stuck at 240. I got to 240 and I got stuck there for 10 days.
Well, this year.
Yeah. Do you remember when I said to you, I dropped 6 pounds overnight?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. I was 240. I was stuck there for 10 days, and we reduced food, we reduced up cardio. My weight would not move. But I'm like, it's fine because I can see myself getting leaner, so it's fine. And this is it. It's like people will be like, oh, rush to make changes. Sometimes you don't need to.
That's a good one. Why do clients always want change? Okay, so What about when a client, like, so they come to you with a check-in, right? And they say, all right, mate, so this week I dropped 3 pounds. My strength's gone up. I'm feeling really, really good. What changes are there?
Yeah.
Like, well, hold on, mate, bro. You're getting what you want. You're getting what you want. Why would I then fucking change it?
Or what pisses me off is they'll check in. You're like, right, cardio up by 10 minutes. Okay, is the diet going to change? Do they fucking say the diet's going to fucking change? If I did, I would have said change the diet.
Bro, I've got it in my frequently asked questions. I've got a diet. The diet does not change week on week. If it's going to change, I will say.
Yeah.
I make sure, like, every time they ask, I literally screenshot and send it to them. Like, trust me, bro. If I didn't change it, I've done that on purpose. Like, I'm not just like forgetting about it.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, up your cardio, but I forget about the diet.
I just swear whatever. No. It's a conscious decision. So one of these, the next one actually, Dan kind of brought it up today on his story. Basically, one of my clients prompted me to write this because basically he was having his liquid as Diet Coke. So I was saying to him, 4 liters a day of water. And he said, yeah, probably 2 liters of that is Diet Coke. And I was like, no, bro. 4 liters of water. If you want a Diet Coke as well, cool. Yeah. But I want you to have the water, right? Yeah. And basically, the note I've given myself is people trying to make shortcuts to their diet. That kind of bugs me. And Dan said it today about like people like trying to make gourmet meals. You know what I mean? Like you're either dieting, like my opinion is stop obsessing about food. Stop trying to make everything so pretty and beautiful. Like there's a job to be done. Just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty good at this. Like you just eat the same fucking foods daily, right? There doesn't need to be any frills.
But to me, that's actually easier because then I'm like, I know what I'm going to eat. It's predictable. Yeah. I don't want to think, oh, well, I'm going to change my rice to a bagel. Like, no, I'd rather not. I'd rather just keep it simple.
Definitely. Do you know? And actually, when I get more and more hungry, I enjoy bagels too much. Right. I don't really enjoy food until the end part of prep. And then at the end part of prep, to me, personally, bagels and jam. That is delightful.
It's like a trigger.
Yeah. And I'd rather not have that. Rice is nice, but it's not like it doesn't make me go weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas
like when oats, like when you're like in an off season, fuck that. I do not eat oats in an off season. Like, dieting. Huh?
I drink it. I never eat it. I can't even eat it. Yeah. Oh. But when you're dieting, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Another thing that I don't get. How do people get 200 grams of fucking oats in their diet? I had this guy. He's like, "Can you look at my diet?" Because he said, I can't eat." He said, "I can't gain weight." I'm like, "Let me see your diet. Meal 1, 200 grams of oats." I'm like, "Bro, what? How long does that fucking take you to digest it?" Oh, well, I'm like, how do you not think? I'm like, do you not think 200 grams of oats, that's 120 grams of carbs. Yeah. Well, you can get that in a couple of Rice Krispie square bars. No fucking problem.
A packet of jasmine rice and 2 Rice Krispie square bars.
Right.
So a packet of jasmine rice is 85 grams of carbs, and then Rice Krispie square bars is 26 each. So yeah. So that'll be 130 grams of carbs. That's got to be easier, isn't it? Surely.
Mate, not just that. Let's say, I don't know, cereal. Anything but 200 grams of fucking oats.
I actually put this on my Instagram the other day, and you've probably seen it already, but for the purpose of the video. So I had a client, and he's Natty, and he was eating 5,900 calories.
And he wasn't.
And he weighs 77 kilograms, and he wasn't gaining weight. And I was like, So I got him to record. I literally got him to get his phone, record him. Not even videos.
Right.
Videos of him doing it. And then he put a time lapse and he videoed himself eating it.
Eating it.
Bless him. He did it. He fucking did it. Because that's quite time consuming, but he did it. But anyway, after reviewing all his videos, it turns out he was under eating by quite a lot. So, but the reason why I'm saying that is, I think, when someone says 200 grams of oats, do you definitely believe them? True. Like that's a lot just for one meal. That's a lot. But this kind of
volume is so much.
is
Even
this guy?
100 is a lot. Even 100 is shitloads.
Yeah, 100's like a normal-ish amount in it. Like when you get to about 125 plus, it's like,
Yeah, for us, but for someone, especially when you cook it, because like they're talking not drinking it, not blended drinking it. They're talking about
puffs
eating
out.
it. Mate, it's so much better.
I don't get it. I think my problem is I'm too trusting sometimes. I think I am. I'm like, I believe people all the time.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, if you watch this, his name's Connor. Great dude. He's so nice. But he was actually sub 5,000. So he was actually eating more like 4,800.
And that's that day that he recorded it.
Exactly.
Imagine like on days that he's not.
So the days that he's not recording, he's probably doing even less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I said to you. When people go, I eat 6,000 calories. No, you don't. No. I'm like, I don't eat 6,000 calories, so you don't either. Yeah. I'm like, bullshit. Yeah. Unless you're 300 pounds and you weigh more than me and you're bigger than me, you don't. I don't. You know? But it's true, though.
But, you know, unless there's someone like us, right? You know how we live our lives.
Yeah.
If you don't live your life like this, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. There's no way a casual person eats 6,000 calories a day and barely puts on weight. Like, no way. No way.
Let alone 200 grams of fucking oats.
I got another guy. He watches them as well, actually. Rob. If you watch this, mate. He fucking, in his off season, he was on like 5. No, he was on over 6. And he was like, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm hungry all the time. And I was like, are you? Like, every portion was 200 grams of rice. 200 grams of rice, like 3 times a day. Fucking 200 grams of cream of rice with 50 grams of peanut butter, 50 grams of whey. Like, big meals, mate. And he was just like, yeah, I'm hungry all the time. And I was like, I don't know, mate. Don't know. And he was always buzzing for like his off plans. And I was like, go and grab a Five Guys. And he was like, yes. And I was like, you can't be eating that food if you're still gagging for a Five Guys. You know what I mean? When you're eating that food and someone gives you a Five Guys, you're like, yeah.
I tell you what, I think 90% of people that say even 4,000 calories, they eat 4,000, they don't. 4,000 calories is not actually that easy to eat. It's a lot of food.
For most people, as you say, like not like 250 plus dudes, right? You know, for like a 200-pound guy, 4,000 calories is a hefty amount.
I mean, just think like that's, you know, you're talking, let's say you're doing 5 meals a day, that's 800 calories per meal.
Yeah, they're not small meals.
So they're big meals.
And if you consider the foods being clean, so like chicken and rice,
yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a packet of rice, 800 calories, right? That's a packet of rice.
Packet and a half.
Well, let's call it a packet of rice. Mm-hmm. That's like 400 calories. Mm-hmm. Add 250 calories from chicken, and then you need probably like a squares bar or some olive oil on top.
And a bit of veg maybe as well.
No way.
There's a lot in it. You're right. There's a lot, and then you got to do that 5 times a day. For most people, that ain't happening. It just ain't. No. I've got another dude as well, and he's got such a busy life. He's always busy. Never got time. And then he's like, yeah, smashing all the food. And I'm like, I just don't know. Like, in fact, I kind of almost want to show you. Oh, I can't bother to get out. His fucking food is so high. And he's just like, I just don't. He's so casual about how he gets it in.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you get all are you accurate with the food? He's like, yeah.
Do you ever keep upping someone's food? Like, let's say they're stuck at a certain way. And you keep upping their food and upping it, and not by a little, but you're like, I'm gonna up it by 500 calories and see what they do, and they're like the same way. I'm like, bullshit.
Something doesn't add up, does it, mate? I don't know.
And I know that with myself. If you up my food by 500 calories, I'll put on 2 kilos in a week.
Yeah. The only time I would say that hasn't worked for me, I went up in food. The highest I've ever been is 8,000, right? I went at 8,000 calories and I was not gaining weight. And I was scratching my head. I was like, how is this possible? And sorry to be so fucking disgusting, but it's because everything was coming out of me.
Yeah.
I started going to the toilet like 4 or 5 times a day. So basically, I scaled it back to 7,000.
Yeah.
And I started gaining again. Because basically my body it was just going in and out, you know what I mean? So there was one time when that actually happened. It was like, it was negatively affecting me. But,
yeah, I don't get people that like when they're like, oh yeah, shit 4 times a day. I'm like, how? I go once, no matter even in like the peak of my food, once.
There's no two ways about it, mate. If you're shitting 4 times a day, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like your body isn't assimilating the food. You know what I mean? It just isn't.
Yeah, like I know with myself, like 4.5 is more than enough. More than enough. And I'll keep gaining. I could probably be
well, I will say this though, you're like your genetics to gain are fucking good though. Do you know what I mean? Like me on 4,500, I'd be losing about 2 kilos a week.
but you're also 4 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
So relatively,
Yeah. Rare. Yeah. Relative.
you know, let's say I'm 250 or 300, 50 pounds up.
Yeah.
You know, now most people at 5'9", at 200 pounds, they're not eating 5 and 6,000 calories. They're just not. They're just not. Anyone that says that, bullshit.
A bit like the guy, you know, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you know, like when they're coming down, you know, and they're eating less and less food, and they keep like and they're gaining weight. Like again, I think people are. Have you ever watched a program called Secret Eaters?
Yes,
I fucking love that program. People eat without realizing, like they're not lying. They're not because they're doing it unconsciously. Subconsciously. Like they'll just be picking at stuff, like you know, without even realize. 200 calories, 200 calories, 200 calories. You know what I mean?
This is why at the minute I'm like, right, I've got like my rules. I'm like, right, no sauce, no spices, because I know that when you start adding spices, like those spices, you're trying to flavor your food more. So they've got fucking calories in them. People don't know that, but they do. You look at the back of it, it says like per 100 grams, it's got like 400 calories in like a, I don't know, a spice jar. And you're like, that's 75 grams. I can use that jar in 4 days.
100%.
Not even.
The one that I use is this one. Yeah, have you seen this one? And the thing about it that's so good is that it's so hot, and because it's hot, you can't use a lot of it.
Can't use a lot of it, yeah. All right. No, I'm talking about like spices, like
like the powder.
Yes,
I know, but this is what I'm saying. I don't use that. I'm saying I use this, and it's fucking is like there's like nothing in it per 100. 71 calories.
Yeah, so that's just like
each time I use it, I'm using about 20 mil. Like,
yeah. But do you know what? I actually quite enjoy just a bit of salt and pepper.
100%. I try. I almost like to go through prep doing that.
Yeah,
like salt, pepper, black coffee. You know, like plain. Do you get that as well? Do you get that as well? Do you like things feeling harder than they are because it gives you a sense of satisfaction?
It's not even that. I just kind of like I enjoy it. I'm like, right, I'm not adding a sauce. Almost like I don't have to worry about it. Because I know that if I'm adding a sweetener, I'm like, well, is that ruining my day? Is that why my stomach's fucked?
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm not using these flavor drops and all this bullshit because I'm like, I don't need it. You know, I use salt, pepper, cinnamon.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think I can't say I didn't. Last prep I did. I used sweeteners, but I used them almost like it's like an ace up my sleeve. If I'm really struggling for energy, I'm a little bit like I'll just chuck a little sweetener into my coffee or my tea, and then I'm good to go. But it would almost be like a last resort. Say again.
Do you not find that sometimes it makes it worse?
What I find is it's enough, but it's not too much. So if I were to have a bowl of cereal, it would set me off. It's because to me that is like top tier. Whereas these little sweeteners, they taste okay.
Yeah.
But they're not fantastic. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. So I'm not. It doesn't make me crazy.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, like I find it like I don't know. Maybe it's just mental. I'm like, right, I'm not using sauce. So I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, well, it's not there, so I don't have to. If it's not there from the start, I don't need it. I don't want it. You know.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of like salt, pepper. That's it. You know.
I get you, man. I get you. I'm gonna get one more, and then you get a couple up. I reckon. This one winds me up. People. So let's say you and I, if we were being coached by someone,
yeah,
and then you said to the coach, how come I'm doing 0 carbs and Ryan's eating 300?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't fucking matter what your mate did, what your fucking mum did, it doesn't matter. You need to do what you need to do. That's it. Like, so fuck, it doesn't matter if some dude did it on 500,000 grams of carbs. Who gives a shit? You got to do what you got to do. That's it. So this sort of like, this attitude kind of bugs me.
I get this quite a lot with gear when people are like, clients will message me and say, what's so-and-so taking? I'm like,
yes.
Why does that matter to you? Yeah, well, because he's taking this and I'm taking that. Or someone will put their cycle on there, like what they're taking. They'll say, why is so-and-so taking this and I'm taking that?
Yeah.
Because they need that and you need this, you know?
Oh, Matt, do you get guys, I'm sure you do, they ask you your opinion on something regarding gear and you give it to them and then they just completely disregard it and do what they were going to do anyway?
I try and avoid talking about gear with random people now just because I can't be bothered. Like, a lot of people are just, I try and avoid those chats when, you know, I used to get all into that. Now I'm kind of like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, fuck.
Unless it's like someone like us having a chat about it. I can't be bothered to entertain it.
Some guy messaged me last week. He goes to my gym and he was like, so I'm thinking about doing my first cycle. I'm going to do, he said, I'm going to do test E, I'm going to do Anavar, and I'm going to do Clen. And I said, he goes, what do you think? I said, well, I don't really think a lot. I said, I don't really know anything about you. I don't know how long you've been training. I don't know whatever. Yeah. He goes, but my opinion is straight away, you probably don't need 2 of those things. You probably just need the test. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he was going to go in with 500 milligrams of test as well. So 500 tests, 50 Anavar a day. And so, yeah, you can imagine what I said. I said to him, probably just go in with like 200 to 300 tests, you know, give or take. I would probably split the dose twice for the week. And that's about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, cheers for your time, mate. I really appreciate it. Anyway, yesterday, all right, bro. So I've got those bits now. And I was like, what bits? And he was like, so I've got like, the test, the Anavar, the Clen. So what doses do you reckon I should take? And I was like why? Look, why are you even asking me? You already, like, you're going to do what you're going to fucking do.
Because had you said to him, yeah, take that, maybe take a little bit of Winstraw on top, maybe add some Mastron as well, just because it'll make you bigger, keep you leaner in the off season, you know? If had you said that, he would have been fucking on point. But because you said you don't need it, he didn't like the answer. So he probably went to his mate and he was like, fucking sound, do it.
You reckon they keep asking people until they get the answer they want?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's like when those people that like try and justify a refeed, I'll come to him and be like, do you reckon I look flat? You'd be like, no, I keep dieting. Oh, damn it. I'll go to my mate and I'll be like, what do you reckon? Yeah, bro, do a refeed. Like,
yeah, you've earned it.
Yeah. You look for the answer, you know, trying to find someone that will justify it for you.
100%. How boring is the answer saying just to take test? It's boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boring to him, yeah, you say he wants to be like Anavar, Winstraw, and primo to make sure you keep your gains, you know.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't really engage in conversation. He is a nice lad, though. He spoke to me at the gym and stuff, so I felt like I had to, but just completely disregarded me.
No, I try and avoid that now. I can't be bothered because again, it just becomes about that. It just becomes about what gear shall I be using, and it's like the rest of your fucking and because I see them like they're not training properly, they're not eating properly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we don't make a fucking difference anyway. So what's the fucking
yeah? Everything falls apart the moment you're A, not dieting right, and B, not training hard. Yeah. If you're not doing these 2 things, quite literally, you can forget everything else. Nothing really means anything unless you're training hard and being consistent with diet, right? Because how many guys have you come across over the years who take steroids but kind of look shit?
Mate, I can attest to that because I used to kind of like eat what I want, or not eat what I want, but I'll kind of be like, oh, whatever. I'll just kind of like make it up. You know, training, you know, kind of almost like that becomes secondary. And your cycle is like the driver of progress, and it's not. You know, it's not. You find out quickly because and then you start thinking, well, my gear is fake. That's what it is. Or he's taking more.
Yeah.
And then you try and take more, and that doesn't work. And eventually you kind of work out, oh, okay, maybe it's the fucking diet shit.
Oh, fuck it, mate. That's so funny. You're so right. Like, I'm not getting the result I want. Therefore, that person must be using more than me. That's so true, isn't it? That's what people. Oh my god, yeah. People always must hate my answer. If ever you've come in my inbox and you're watching this, there might be someone. Hey, bro, what's the best cycle to get lean? Like, my answer is always the same, and it's probably always pisses them off. But it's like food. There is no thing in the whole world that will get you leaner than food.
Then they go, yeah, but my diet's good though. My diet's, my diet's on point. When they say that, my diet's on point, I'm like, oh my god, like I just know that it's not. I'm looking at him, I'm like, well, why the fuck are you 30% body fat then? If your diet's on point.
My diet's on point, bro. Like literally, that sentence is code for I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What cycle should I take, bro? Like, man, it's so funny. Like I said it to Amy today. There's literally a thing available to everyone. You can go into a supermarket. It's literally available to everyone, and it is the key to getting lean, right? And it's completely overlooked by these people. Food, fucking food. It's like they think you're taking the piss. When you say that answer, what should I do to get lean? When you say food, they actually think you're taking the piss.
Yeah.
They actually think you're joking.
Or they assume that their diet's actually on point, or what they deem on point. So they're like, well, it can't be my diet because my diet's spot on. I know my diet's good.
I've got that covered.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
One of the questions that actually stands out to me that I got asked is about what I think about milk in the diet, within a bodybuilder's diet.
Milk is for babies.
This is what I say. Like when someone's like about milk, I'm like, are you a babe? Like literally, or when they're like, so with my whey, every time. When it says the whey, is that with milk or with water?
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think?
Bro, I used to do that when I was 17, 18. I would put milk in my whey. I remember being really young and thinking that's what you had to do. I don't know why, because it was called a protein shake. Milk shake. It was because of the wording.
Look, most people
also think that you got to put milk into your oats as well, don't they? That's another thing. They love that.
Oh my god. or when they're like when they go, is that like when I say water, they're like, does that not taste good? I'm like, no, I'm like, to be fair, most proteins actually taste pretty good now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just fucking suck it up. It's like,
but also it's the way you make it, right? If you do like 50 grams of whey and then you put a pint of water in, it's too much. It tastes a bit like, I don't know. You've got to get that right consistency, like a little bit thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really makes a difference. Same as making your oats. If you make your oats really runny, it's like a bowl of slop. Or if you make it too sticky as well. So it's like, it's just getting your levels right.
When they go, but it adds calories. And I'm like, yeah, but most people can't digest it. So you're going to run into issues with digestion. So I just don't like milk as a source. I don't like it unless you're an infant.
Basically, just to go over what you said, like I think if you can tolerate it and you really want it in there, okay, cool. But yeah, probably not. But for the most part, I don't think a lot of people can tolerate it very well.
Oh.
I personally love it, and when I've got cereal in off season, if it makes it that bit more palatable, I'll have it. In fact, what I typically go for is almond milk.
Right. I like coconut milk.
Yeah, that too.
But almond milk, no. But I do say that to people. I'm like, look, if you can't bear it, almond milk is probably the best substitution for it. But not cow's milk, no way.
If I want to treat myself, I'll have cow's milk. I do. I like it. I really like it. But generally, no.
Do you not get the shits from that though? It's like, for me, I'm like, well, I don't. But like, if I overdo it, I know I will. And it's kind of like, I'm like, it's not worth it. Like the after effects of it.
My whole life, if I were to tot up all the things I've eaten, the thing that I've eaten the most in my life is cereal.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had about 2 or 3 bowls a day. I fucking love cereal. So I don't know. Clearly, milk is fine for me. It just is.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, water in your Cocoa Pops or your Rice Krispies is just like,
Oh no,
I don't
I'd
know.
rather eat them dry. I'd rather eat
Yeah,
them dry.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you ever have you put the your protein shake in?
yeah, that's what I do.
Ooh, again, I don't really
It
like that.
depends.
Again, I'd rather dry. I'd rather dry.
It depends if it's if they're mixed together. So if you've got like a, I don't know, lemon fucking protein, and then you've got like Cocoa Pops, obviously that would. But if you got like, I don't know, strawberry or
Vanilla,
something like
vanilla will get a
that,
bit, wouldn't it?
then it's okay. Um,
I honestly, I'd rather just not have Rice Krispies. I'd rather just have like rice. If the choice is Rice Krispies with water or protein shake, Rice Krispies,
yeah,
or rice, I just have rice.
have rice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, Rice Krispies is either with milk or with nothing.
Do you eat cream of rice now? I got through a stage that I loved cream. I was eating probably cream of rice like 3 out of my 6 meals. That's when I kind of like was dieting last year and then carried that over for a couple of months. I can't stand cream of rice now.
Really?
Oh
Oh
no.
man, yeah, you used to love that shit, didn't you? The one from Morrison's.
No. I get the. Oh, I can't eat that one now. It's too like gritty. It does not. It's not.
But what
I get the proper cream rice, but still just can't. Just got sick of it really bad. Like
it tastes really false, doesn't it? It tastes really fake, like chemically.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And I think like it'll probably get to a point that I would probably still enjoy it now.
Mm,
But when it gets to like an off season, no fucking way.
I agree. I had it throughout my whole off season, but purely because I could drink it.
Does that not affect digestion? You don't have to cook it though.
I
It's
have,
raw otherwise, right?
I've seen both arguments. Some people say it's fine, some people say it's not. Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
if you're fine.
yeah. But Martin actually took it out right at the end. The final 2 weeks he took it out, and the reason being is because my appetite was so fucked,
Yeah,
and I was drinking 3 of my meals for the day, and he's like,
I
I
remember
think,
that. Yeah,
yeah, he said, he goes, when you chew, you release enzymes, which helps digestion. Yeah, so you're basically bypassing all of that, and your appetite's fucked. So he said, I need you to chew more, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I like cream of rice now. I like it. But it depends on what one you get. Like the Cardiff Sports Nutrition one's good and JP one's good.
yeah. The JP one is good. Yeah.
But the I don't like Complete Strength. I don't really like that one. Don't know if you've had that.
No, I don't like completion. I don't like any of their products. I think all of their products are garbage. Like pre-work, and then they taste like crap as well.
Yeah, I've had that pre-workout before. I won a competition. He done a Rob put up a competition. 100 kilogram bench press for the most amount of reps.
Yeah.
It was just before lockdown, and it was you have to beat Samson Dowder. Samson Dowder done 100 for 44.
I remember that you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did 100 for 55. So he sent me out like a t-shirt and a pre-workout. Mate, the pre-workout tastes like shit.
Oh yeah, I know.
I gave it away.
I don't like any of their products. I've tried a bunch of them, and yeah, I just don't like them.
I think the JP one might be the nicest tasting cream rice.
Yeah, JP has got his fucking supplements bang on. Like they are expensive, but they are good.
They're good.
I just got that new pre-workout. I think it's called Don't Miss or something like that. It's good. It's decent.
I just don't really buy into pre-workouts, mate, personally. I don't know.
I held off the entire like off season, obviously because when you're full and you taking a pre-workout is probably the last thing you want. Actually it's counterproductive. But now it's actually quite good. When you're in prep and you actually like, the pumps are so much better. Actually, you actually notice the pumps. So I only use it when dieting.
Might try it. I think I just never got into it. A few times, the beta alanine, when you start tingling all over your face and shit. I just don't know. I just don't know if I like that feeling. And everyone goes, well, I don't get a stim one. And I'm like, well, then I can't feel anything.
I find the pump ones don't really do shit.
That's what I'm on about. Yeah. So it's either like get the tingles.
Or, you don't have to get one that's got shit load of beta alanine that makes you tingle. It's not.
But if I don't get that, I don't feel anything. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just taken the wrong ones. But I'm like, I don't really get anything. I don't get anything.
Yeah, maybe you're not that sensitive to, because again, like I didn't use it for months and months and months. And I get guys like they come in the gym because they sell pre-workout in the gym. Every session, pre-workout. I'm like, mate, is that even doing anything? And I'm like, you've been doing that for months and months and months. Surely that's doing fuck all now. You're not feeling it. You adapt to it.
Oh, 100% you build a tolerance to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years, I think maybe I've done something because over the years, like taking recreational drugs, I don't know if they necessarily react the same way. You know, I don't know if it's like the same.
I doubt it. I
don't know, but I always knew that I had a high tolerance for drugs as well.
Maybe you've just taken shit pre-workouts.
I don't know.
MV pre is good.
I've had it.
I've had
MV pre. I like the flavor, but
yeah, all the JP ones of even like not the prepare one because it's just expensive. I don't ever rated it, but you know the basic one, the stim. Anytime I take that, it's guaranteed I'm gonna have a decent workout. Always got on with it.
I always have a decent workout regardless. Anyway, fuck it.
Oh, for sure, but like in prep, I think it can.
Yeah.
Even if it's mental.
Yeah. Little 5% here and there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see what else. What time did you fall asleep last night? About midnight.
Yeah, me too.
What time are you up?
6, 7. About that. Same as you?
6. Yeah, I'm up about 6. I just naturally just wake up.
Yeah. Me too. I wake up and then I sort of like doze until about 7, and that's it.
No, I get up. As soon as I wake up, I get up and
so I'm at the stage right now where I know that my body's going to thank me later for it.
Right.
If I can get another half hour to an hour, I will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because this morning I woke up at 6 and I just knew there was a little bit more in me, so I was like,
if you can get extra sleep, that's always better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that fucks me, man. In prep, like if like your energy and everything is all fucked up because of your lack of sleep. You know, if you could just get a good night's sleep, it changes everything.
Yeah. See, I'm not there yet. I haven't felt that yet.
Yeah.
And I've got melatonin. I'm not using it purposely because I want to wait until I need it, kind of thing. But yeah.
But the way that your brain's working this year, like you'll know what I'm on about when I say this. It's fucking satisfying. When you can't sleep, you know you're like that. That's when you know you're like in shape. When your sleep is completely fucked, like you know you're like yes.
But weirdly, like before, I've been fatter and I've been not as lean, but my sleep's been worse.
Drugs?
Could be.
I don't know. That's weird. Normally, I find that it's like a direct correlation to body fat.
Yeah.
It's pretty you know, I can be on trend in off season and sleep just fine, so it's not a trend thing. Right. It's a body fat thing, I find.
Yeah I feel fine now. I'm not like
hey, roll with it, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so I mean, no doubt it will come, but I do get like sort of midday about 2ish. Let's say I'll train about 10:30. I'm done by about 12. I come back, I have a meal, and I'm like between that 2 and like 5, I'm like have like a little bit of a lag where I'm like, ugh.
100%.
And then come like 5, I'm like, I'm good to go again.
Mate, literally, you've just described my day. Every day. After I get home from training, I'm like,
yeah.
No, I'm fine. Like right now, I'm absolutely fine. I could go and do more cardio. Like no problem.
That's what I mean. I'm like the same way. If you said to me like go and do an hour, I'll be fine.
Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
But mate, anyway, should we wrap it up?
I think so, yeah, because I've still got 2 more meals.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Yeah. But yeah, mate. Tomorrow, send me your check-in. I want to have a look.
I will send it to you. Yeah.
Look at my screen. What the fuck?
Plus, I've got arms tomorrow, so that will be
Yeah. Do you have Telegram, by the way?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, send it to me on Telegram so I don't lose the quality.
My pictures always look so much better on like, for example, like look, I was just doing some earlier and
oh yeah, that's good.
Like they always look, but right. I'll take a screenshot and they look better on the camera, even when I take a screenshot, weirdly.
Or however it's yeah, like whatever's clearest, send it to me on that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah,
definitely, man. All right, mate. We'll catch you tomorrow then. All right.
Right. Speak to
you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
See you later, mate.